Oh, there it goes. There it goes. That's one. Oh, he's on it. There he goes. Finally. About time. That's a bigger one for another day. Today I'm going to show you how to catch, clean, and cook stocked rainbow trout here in Texas. Now, I've seen a lot of people on social media asking, hey, what gear do I need to catch these rainbow trout? Where can I catch them? How do I know when they're stocking ponds? Well, today that's exactly what I'm going to show you. But first, can you please consider giving us a subscribe and a like? It helps the channel out tremendously. But without any further ado, let's get to the video starting now. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. That's one. Oh. He was eating it for sure. He was eating it. My bobber went under, but he took it. Oh, he's on it. There he goes. Finally. About time. Finally. Man, I keep seeing my bobber go under and under, but I never catch him until now. Oh, look, you spit it right out. There it is, everyone. This is my first ever rainbow trout. I'm gonna go ahead and cook them up too when we get home. All right, that's the first one, guys. Let's go ahead and get 4 more. Get that, guys. First ever rainbow trout. Literally, this is the first ever rainbow trout I've ever caught. And they are not native to... They are, like I was saying before he jumped out my hand, they're not native to this part of the country, being that they're a cold fish and they only like the cold weather. But look at them. We got them here. Thank God for these Texas Parks and Wildlife. They stack them here in our ponds and gives us the chance to catch them. Put them right here in this Bucky's bag. Perseverance really pays off. I would have at least had about 8 of them, or at least 8 bites. That's what I've had there. But just I couldn't set the hook. For some reason the hook would not set, and even for this one, hook popped right out and everything. But let's go ahead and throw back out there and get another one so we can feast and make them. It's getting bit quick, but it's not staying on the hook. Of course, I wasn't recording, but got another little guy hooked right at the corner of the mouth. Good job. This one's a little bit fatter than the other one. All right, let's get it back in there. There it goes. Big. Oh, it's just the wind. Yeah, it's just the wind bouncing it around. Scared me there for a sec. Oh, that's a fish. That's a fish. Yep, that's a fish. There we go. Alrighty. Pretty much. There it goes. There he goes. He's on. He's on there. He's on there. He's on. There we go, baby. That's a bigger one from the other day. There we go, guys. Now that's a rainbow. And that's how you catch them. Look, right in the corner of the mouth. Man, this is a thick guy. It's a real thick guy. So we kind of gill hooked him, but that's the first rainbow of the day right there. Get him. Beautiful, beautiful, nice little rainbow. There it goes. There we go. That's number 2. There we go, boys. That's the second one. That's number 2. Number 2. So first, I'm gonna go over the gear. This is one of the most important things, along with the bait, that you need to catch these trout. So the first thing that I want to go over is the actual fishing line itself. So what you see that I have here is 6-pound fishing line. This is a monofilament, I believe, by Tri-Line in Berkeley. The reason you want a light line is because these fish have really, really, really good eyesight. And if they see anything out of the ordinary in the water, they typically won't bite. And plus, you don't want to be pulling in these small fish with 20-pound line. Trust me, you just don't want to do that. So the lighter that you can go, the better. I've even seen people use 4-pound line just for this particular fish. So you want to go extra light. Go with an extra light reel. And if you don't have an extra light reel, that's also okay. I'm going to show you how I rigged it so I can get the most sensitivity as possible to feel when these trout bite. The next thing that you're going to want to go to and look at is the bait. I suggest they have these power baits. So for here in Texas, this was working for me for a couple of days, but I seen another man that came in, and let me tell you, he freaking just smoked him. But he was using a different type. So the one that he was using, it was the Berkeley power bait as well, but it wasn't this paste. So this is the paste formula that they have, and all you do is get a scoop of it with your finger, roll it into a ball, and put it on the hook. But he was using the nuggets, and he was using the orange color. Now, I don't know if there was a difference between this and the orange color. My guess is that neon orange color stood out a lot better than this rainbow color did. I mean, it's more really green than rainbow anyway, if you look at it. Yeah, it looks rainbow, but once you mush it all together, it's like this yellowish green kind of thing, because you're kind of just mixing the colors anyway. This power bait, if you can see right here, it says floating. You want to get the floating one, because whenever your weight is sitting at the bottom, you want this bait to kind of come up and float. So what happens is, when you have the weight down here, this bait will float up in the air itself, and you'll be able to see them too. Like if you try to set the hook and you find out you missed it, you'll just see your bait float right up to the surface, and you'll know exactly where you casted. So another thing that you would need when you're out there is super, super tiny hooks. I cannot stress this one enough as well. You need these super tiny hooks. So the ones that I have here, they're by Eagle Claw, and they're size 10 hooks. Shoot, I found that these were probably the best because the rainbow trout couldn't see the hooks, and they also couldn't feel them until it was too late when you go and you set the hook in. Another thing that you would need is I would recommend split shots. So the split shots that I have here were probably a little bit too heavy, but I didn't go back to the store to go get any more. I would recommend maybe like a 1/8 size, maybe even lower. But that's just to kind of keep your bait coming up and, you know, keeping it from really rubbing on into the grass and stuff. Another piece of gear that you would need to connect your two lines, unless you have 6-pound line all through your setup, or 4-pound line, anything under, I would say 6-pound is probably the best. But if you don't have it like that, then the other thing I would recommend is a barrel swivel. See, so something like that. I think this one is a size 7 barrel swivel. So something like that would work perfect in case you have a different setup. You can use that. So just to be clear, the things that you would need is 6-pound fishing line or anything under 6-pound, power baits. Any color would really work. I would honestly probably recommend orange just because they can see it better. Size 10 hooks. Anything size 10 will work as long as it's a small hook and they're not able to see it. And then split shots and barrel swivels. So those are the type of gear that you will need when going out there. Okay, now rigging. There's a couple different rigs that you can use. The first thing that I want to talk about is your actual rod and reel setup. Now, when you're fishing for these, because everything that you're using is so light, you don't want to go out there with a real heavy set because you won't be able to feel the bite. This is the rod that I was using out there. It's a TFO professional rod, and I have it paired with 20-pound braid and also a pin clash 2. I think this is a 3000 series. Yeah, it's a pin clash 2 3000 series, and this is the rod I was using out there, and it's a medium light rod. But honestly, I even feel like this setup was too heavy. I wish I would have went out there with like an ultralight rod. I don't have one right now. But if you subscribe, I might have one by next week. Nah, I'm just kidding. But there is a rig that I was using on here that I felt was the best rig because it gave me the most sensitivity when I had my fingers on the fishing line. And that rig is this one right here. If you can see that, it's called the drop shot rig. So basically the way that I rigged it is I put a right here where the hook is at. If you can see that, right there where the hook is at, I did a Palomar knot, and then I left it pretty long on both sides. And then what I did is I wanted the hook to be facing upwards like this, because whenever you set the hook, you're setting it up. And that's kind of more or less the area I wanted to get it at. So what I did is once I had it facing up, I tied on my barrel swivel right there. And then at the bottom, all I did was put my split shot. So whenever this was working in the water, it was working just like this. And every time I would move it or anything, the bait right here would bounce. And I was able to have a lot more sensitivity going from this part up to the barrel swivel and then directly to my main line. This was probably the best setup that I had, being that I had such a heavy rod and reel setup. Another rig that you can use is this, and then just tying on a float to right here. So this is the float that I was using when I was out there. It's a simple float that you can put off and on just on the line, so whenever you don't need it, you can always take it off. And of course, you keep the same drop shot rig. You add the float, and then what happens is this still sits at the bottom, and then this is just kind of floating up in the air a little bit more, leaving it a lot more visible for these trout to see. Now we're gonna go over exactly where can you find these stocked ponds here in Texas. They have multiple locations and they stock them at multiple different times. But the first thing you want to do is you want to get on to this little guy right here. You want to get onto your phone, pull up your whether it's Google or you're on Safari, whatever you're using, go ahead and pull it up now. And all you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're going to type in tpwd.texas.gov. Okay, so you're going to type that in and it's going to take you straight to this page, to the Texas Parks and Wildlife. So you just click into it. Once you've clicked into it, you want to go to these three little buttons right here on the side. Go to search and you're going to type in rainbow trout stocking. And then I didn't finish it, but you're going to do schedule. You're going to do schedule. Rainbow trout stocking schedule. And after you do that, all you do is you click go. And it's going to give you a list. Oh, not yet. Once you come here, all you're going to do is click on rainbow trout stocking schedule, the very first one. And then they're going to give you a list of everything you need. They're going to give you your license requirements, your harvest regulations, which you can only keep 5 a day, but there's no minimum size. So you can keep any size as long as you only keep 5. And then you keep scrolling down, and then they give you a bunch of weird looking dates and stuff that you can see here. What I like to do is stock by city. So that's this middle one right here. You can do stocking location, and that'll put it in alphabetical order and the actual location. But I like to go city. And then depending on what city you're on, you can find out exactly where. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to search. I'm going to type in Houston and go. Once I type in Houston, it'll show me the nearest ponds that we have for stocking these type of trout. So right here you can see Houston Eisenhower Park Pond. They're going to stock 1,200, and the dates that they're stocking them is 1/11/22 and 2/16/22. So I would recommend going either the day of the stocking or within the next 7 days, because by then I'm assuming they might end up all being fished out. Then you have, Herman Brown Park Pond. So you can go there. They only stock it one time. So right now, there might not be anything left in that pond. They might have all died out once the weather changed. Houston, Kickerillo Misher. I haven't heard of that one. Oh, they stocked it on my birthday, 114. Sheldon State Park Children's, number 1. So 15. So, you can go through all of these, and it shows you all the areas that you can go and you can catch these fish. Now, what I would recommend when you go to target these fish is you only go whenever it's not too hot, because once it starts to get hot, they're all going to just die off anyway. But not only that, I recommend going the day of the stocking or 7 days after. And that's exactly how you can find the nearest pond in your location. But anyways, that's how you can find the nearest pond in your location, is you just go to the Texas Parks and Wildlife resources, and they have everything on there. And you know what? I'll go ahead and I'll link down at the bottom. I'll go ahead and I'll link it down at the bottom, so you don't even have to go through any of this mess. You just go down to the bottom, you click on the Texas Parks and Wildlife link, and it'll take you straight to the stocking schedule, and you won't have to worry about anything else. So it's super simple. These are probably one of the easiest fish I think I've ever cleaned in my life. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna come from right here where their little hole is. We're gonna come right here where this hole is, cut straight up, stop around here, and then we're gonna cut the head off. And once everything's cut, we're just gonna pull this out and clean the inside. Go ahead and do that now. Stick our blade in here, cut this. See, cut all the way up. It's always easier if you have a nice sharp knife. And then we'll cut from the back of the head here. Cut the entire head off, like so. Pull the head off here. We still gotta cut a little bit more into here. Boom. Then we just take all of this out of here. Just like so. Just like that. Then you'll see inside of here there's a bloodline. You want to clean this bloodline out and by pulling it off. There we go. Get that bloodline out of there. After is we'll just go ahead and clean the inside of that.